Yes, Mr. Shasovsky.
Thank you, Chair. I was threatening to round off that previous topic when we went away. And what I would like to do in that regard is just to find my notes first. But that may. If we go to the screenshots of the exchanges between yourself and the CFO and the General, and we look at pages from 584. We start on 584. And we see that the first screenshot of the day is at 9:46. These are all screenshots relating to the day that you got involved in the issue of the invoices. The second one is at 10 o'clock. The third one is at 14:20. It's only after you've been there 3 times that the invoice from Gubis materializes. And then the last one is the next day at 11:41. So over a period of essentially 24 hours, in relation to this matter, in fact more than 24 hours, 25 and a half hours, the CFO and General Dlamini have been communicating in relation to this matter through you and through screenshots that have been passed through your phone. Now, Commissioner Baloyi suggested that one reason that this may have happened is that you had an old family relationship with the General, and the CFO knew that you could invoke your family relationship to get the General to act in circumstances where maybe he couldn't. I want to put to you that there's in fact a more sinister reason for this, which is that if this whole process of increasing target values, extending budgets and the like to facilitate payment of invoices is being done irregularly to extract money out of the city, then the General and the CFO wouldn't want to communicate in this regard in the manner in which officials normally communicate, which is either by email on the official email or by phone and text on the official phones. Because they wouldn't want to leave an electronic trail, an obvious electronic trail of their direct involvement in this process. And by sending screenshots through you, so that they never communicate, they are never seen to communicate directly with one another, what they do is obscure the fact that they together are driving this process, a process which they don't want to be seen to be driving. That's what I'm putting to you. What's your response to that?
Commissioner, can I use the services of the interpreter?
I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to repeat that in the same terms, but it may not be exactly the same.
No, I understand it. But the interpreter, I think, not that I don't hear you, but I just want to understand. So the best and better way is to use the interpreter's services.
So where I started...
Ms. Murray, did you hear the question?
Yeah, this, Commissioner, I did catch the...
Do you want it repeated?
Yes, let's...
Oh, all right.
Thank you.
So, Commissioner Baloyi put to you that that a possible reason why the CFO was using you as an intermediary between himself and the General was that the CFO knew about your family relationship with the General, and let's stop there, because otherwise we'll reach the end and have the same problem.
uCommissioner Balo uye wathi kuwe isizathu sokuthi kube nokuxhumana phakathi ka CFO phakathi kwakho ne CFO ukuthi uCFO ubazi ngobudlelwane wena onabo no general.
And so the CFO thought that because of your family relationship with the general, you would be able to persuade the general to do things that he as CFO might not be able to persuade the general.
Ngakho ke uCFO uye wathatha ngokuthi ngenxa yobudlelwane bakho onabo kungcono ukuthi asebenzise wena kunokuthi kube uye ovela ngaphambili ngokuxhumana okukhona phakathi kwakhe no general kodwa ubudlelwane bakho ibona obuzosiza ukuxhumanisa.
That was what Commissioner Baloyi put to you. I want to put to you that there is a more sinister explanation.
Lokho ke kuye kwashiwa uCommissioner Baloyi kodwa mina ngithi khona esinye isizathu esibi esingasikhona esenze lokho.
And the sinister explanation is this, that if what is going on here is a process of securing irregular payments to suppliers,
Isizathu ke salokho ukuthi isizathu esingesihle singacacile ukuzama ukufihla leso sizathu esikhona esibi.
by changing budgets and increasing target values,
Ngokushintsha ama-budget kanye nokwenyusa imikhawulo yokusetshenziswa kwemali.
the CFO and the general would not want to leave the electronic communication trail that is left by ordinary communications within a municipality between senior officials.
uCFO ke no general bayafihla ukuthi kubekho kungabi umzila wabo wokuxhumana ungabonakali bayafihla ngokuthi basebenzise wena ukubaxhumanisa.
That ordinary communication channel is on official emails or through messaging on official phones.
Lokho kuxhumana ke kubonakala ke kuma emails nalezi ngxoxo enibenazo.
And by interposing you between all of their communications, they leave an electronic trail that suggests that they never speak to each other.
Ngokusebenzisa wena ke lokho kuyafihlakala bakufihla ukuthi banokuxhumana bona bobabili. Wena ubayisivika abavika ngase ihawu lokusithela kuso.
So they are able to communicate in relation to irregular conduct within the municipality without leaving an electronic trail that suggests that they have done so.
Ngakho ke bakwazi ukuthi kufihleke ukuthi banokuxhumana okuthile ngoba akukho mbhalo akho mzila yembhalo ebonakalayo yokuxhumana kwabo ngokwenza kwabo into engenhle.
And I put it to you that that is the reason why all of these messages were sent through you in relation to these payments.
Ngakho ke ngikubeka kuwe ukuthi yikho lokho kwenze ukuthi lezi inkulumisana lokho kuxhumana okube khona kufihleke kungabonakala isandla sabo khona.
So I'd like your comment, if any, on that.
Bengicela ke uPaul ngalokho.
Akusiqiniso lokho.
That is not true.
Are you happy to leave it at a simple denial?
Ngabe nje ufuna ukugcina ngokuthi ukuphike nje ukuthi akulona iqiniso.
Kunjalo.
That is correct. That is so.
Sorry. Assuming your initial explanation for why you got involved in the issue relating to Gubi's securities payment, assuming that your initial explanation was that you were in the car with the CFO, a call came and you were trying to assist. What were you still doing 3 months later when there's a termination of that contract? What was the reason for your continued involvement with Gubi's security affairs?
Faleni uye waphendula wathi wangenela ngesikhathi nihamba no-CFO ukusiza. Kodwa manje kubonakala enyangeni ezintathu eziqhubekayo usaqhubeka nokuthi ungenelele. Kwakuyini isizathu sakho sokuthi uqhubeke kulezi ezinye izinyanga ezintathu eziqhubekela phambili?
Angibonanga kuyinkinga after inyanga ezintathu ezilandelayo ukuqhubeka ngokukhuluma ngayo into yaka CFO noDlamini nayo uGubisi ngoba ngangibona nje angibonanga kunento enenkinga lapha.
I did not see any reason, I did not see any problem for me to continue even beyond that 3 months of continuing to be involved in this process.
And why Gubi's security specifically? Why not other service providers? Why Gubi's security? What was your interest in Gubi's security?
Kwakuyini okwenza ukuthi uqhubeke uqondane ngqo nabe-security? Why ungangenelelanga kweminye imisebenzi kwamanye ama-process ayekhona kodwa kwagcina nje lapha ukuthi ungenelele kwe-security kuphela?
Incazelo yami ukuthi amanye ama-security azange kulethwe ngakimi or bengingekho bifibona baba neyinkinga. So inkinga bengiyazi yiyo yona le bekade ngikhona kuyo yeGubisi.
The reason is that the other security issues were not brought to me. That is why I did not involve myself in them with as much as I was involved with the Gobis.
Thank you, Mr. Chaskauso.
Well, at least some security procurement issues were brought to your attention. Let me take you to one. It starts on page 500.
Page?
500. And there you'll see that on the 28th of November 2024, the General sent you in chat number 7 a document headed TMPD 01 2024-25. And that document we will see at page 500. Sorry, not at page 500, we're at page 500, at page 566. And what we see at page 566 is a list of all of the tenders that have been received in respect of tender 1 of 2024-25, and there is a date, 02/10/2024. Was that the deadline for submissions of bids in respect of that tender? To October 2024. Are you aware that that was the deadline for the submission of bids in that tender?
I was not.
But you accept that by 28 November, if there is a list of all of the tenders received with their bid prices, then the deadline for submission must have passed. You'll accept that?
That's correct.
So by 28 December, all bids had to be in. You accept that?
That's correct.
And are you aware of the principle of public procurement that you are bound by your bid, and that after you have submitted your bid, you may not alter it. You aware of that principle?
That's correct.
While we're on this document, let's go down to page 571. And we see at number 26, Gubis appears again.
5.
So Gubis must have submitted a bid for this tender.
571.
571. And we see at 572,
Are you still looking for 571?
That's correct. But I think,
You will see Goobies is number 26.
okay.
then at 572, number 32 is reflected as El Shadia Security and Training. But you may recall that the correct name for this entity is El Shaddai. It's AI, not IA at the end. And you may recall from our questions yesterday that that was one of the two bidders who the General, yourself, and Mr. Mnisi identified as the preferred vehicles for this tender. You recall that?
That's correct.
If we go down to 573, we see at number 34 an entity that is spelt TRIOTRIC, Triotic Protection Services. I imagine that that should have been Triotic, TRIOTIC. And are you aware that Triotic is a company group associated with Mr. Modise, the Deputy Mayor?
That's correct.
And then at 95, we see a misspelling of your brother's company, Ngapeshia Construction and Projects.
At 35.
At number 35, immediately after Triotic. It's sort of spelt here, I don't even want to try to pronounce NCTA, but it should be Ngapeshia. You see it?
No, I see it, but it can't be Ngapeshe.
It can't be.
This one is Ngapeshe. This is not Ngapeshe.
I see, and you're saying that this is not a contract for which your brother's company bid?
I'm disputing the name.
The name is wrong. It's spelt wrongly on this list. But are you denying that that company on page 573, number 35, was actually your brother's company, but whoever wrote this list spelt it wrong?
I deny it was my brother's Ngapeshe.
But does the full name of your brother's company goes Construction and Projects? Is it Ngapeshea Construction and Projects, your brother's company?
I'm not sure, but it might be Ngapeshe Security, or I'm subjected to be corrected once I see the full document of Ngapeshe.
Can I ask a different question? Do you deny that your brother submitted a tender for this?
I don't deny my brother submitting a tender.
Yeah, thank you.
And was your brother a successful bidder for this tender?
Yes, according to me.
Well, let's see how he got there. Can we then go to page 133?
100
33,
same file.
No.
file 1. You have it.
That's correct.
And there you'll see that the CFO asks you on 26 February 2025 at the foot of the page, or foot of 133, who is Sipho Nkomo or Joe Mabunda from TMPD? You see that question?
That's correct.
And you respond by sending a photo of Mr. Nkomo, and the CFO then says underneath, okay, taking him off this one, pointing up at that photo. You see that? It's over the page. It's 1:34 at 26 February. The chat time is 11:17, which would be 1:17 p.m.
I see it.
You then below that say, I'm sending Joe Mabunda, but he's going on pension this year, and you send a photograph with a Facebook link to a picture of Mr. Mabunda. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, do you know why Mr. Mnisi was interested in who Mr. Nkomo and Mr. Mabunda were?
I don't know.
Did you know that they were the two departmental representatives from the TMPD on the bid evaluation committee for this tender?
I don't know.
If we then go to page 512,
Same file.
512, no, it's file 2. We see the messages that I took you to yesterday. It's the messages of the 9th of March that the General sends you. The first is at 7:35 p.m. Afternoon, my brother. I trust you're well and your family. My sincere apologies for the delay in sending these messages. The two vehicles for land are 1, Ngapeshea Securities, and 2, El Shaddai Security Services. Have a blessed Sunday and lots of luck. You remember that one?
Yes, I remember.
And then 2 days later, he sends you a list of 7 companies at 11 March, 3:06 p.m. And he explains immediately below that, afternoon, Captain, I trust you're well and your family. The above is from the Red Berets. Please check with Mfowethu if it's the same with his from CIC Juju to verify the authenticity. We went through that yesterday. I don't propose to go through it again. What I will show you is that if you go to page 148, you will see that all 3 of the messages that General Dlamini sent to you on the 9th and on the 11th, you forward to the CFO on the 11th at 1:20, or at chat time 1:21 p.m., which is actually 3:21 p.m. You see those 3 messages. Afternoon, my brother, the 2 vehicles, and then the 7 entities allegedly identified by the Red Berets. You see those 3?
That's correct.
Now, let me pause here and ask, why was it necessary for General Dlamini to communicate with the CFO through you in relation to these 3 messages?
Okay, thank you. The 3 major messages, I will start with that one of 7 companies. At that time, according to the general, that he was approached, I don't know by who, but some individuals knowing that he's working at Tshwane, or he once worked with them before, but I think he was working at Tshwane on security issues. Then they gave him these 7 companies. Then they further said to him, these companies belong to CIC Juju. And then they further elaborated that the same companies were also given to the CFO. So he sent me the same companies to send to CFO to verify, as in he knows about these companies, and are these companies legit, or is it true the way they are saying that they were sent by Juju?
Now, who is the Juju or CRC to whom you're referring here?
I took it as they sent it to me, CIC Juju.
Who did you understand CRC Juju to be?
At that time, I did not need maybe to understand on who it was, but I just took it as it came, that is CIC Juju.
What legitimate purpose could there be of checking with the CFO that a list of companies allegedly coming from CRC Juju had in fact come from CRC Juju? Could there be any legitimate purpose?
Commissioner, can I use, just on that question, the services of my honorable interpreter?
Ngabe kwakuyini isizathu sokuthi lamagama lezinkampani ezisikhombisa athunyelwe ukuthi aqinisekise ukuthi avela ku-CIC Juju?
Isizathu kwakuwukuthi ubaba uDlamini wayefuna ukuba nesiqiniseko kubaba uMnisi ukuthi ngempela lawo makhampani abuya lapho kuthiwa abuya khona, nokuthi ngempela uwatholile yini yena na kukhona kwaziye ngawo.
The reason was to ascertain if indeed these names, these companies' names did come from Juju, so that the CEO could be assured of that.
Why would the CFO need to know if these companies' names came from Juju?
Ngabe kwakuyini isizathu sokuthi CFO afuna ukuqinisekisa ukuthi ngempela lamagama lezinkampani abuya ku-CIC Juju?
Ukuya ngobaba uDlamini, labo bantu abafika kuye bathi naye ubaba uMnisi unawo lawo magama. Manje yingakho ke ubaba uDlamini wabona ukuthi kubalulekile ukuthi akaqale ezwe nangaye ubaba uMnisi.
The reason was
Can
that.
you please turn this mic towards Ms. Murray as well? Yeah. Please translate. Switch both of them.
Now I've lost the trend of the thought. I think the reason was that Mr. Mnisi also needed to assure that these names did indeed come from the CIC Juju, and that's why he needed to establish this from Mr. Dlamini. I'm not sure if I got it right, Commissioner.
And did you understand?
Sorry, please repeat the question and let's get the answer again.
What legitimate reason could there be for the CFO to need to know whether this list of companies came from Juju?
Mr. Chaskalson, I think we...
To finish off the question.
That was the question. What legitimate reason could there be?
Ngabe kwakuyini isizathu esibambekayo esasidinga ukuthi CFO adinge ukwazi ukuqinisekisa lokho.
Isizathu ngaleso sikhathi kwakuwukuthi ke ubaba Dlamini ngokuya kwakhe ukuthi labantu ababekade bafike kuye bamtshela ukuthi le inkampani ezika CIC Juju maye ngokugwema or noma ukufuna ukuqinisekisa ngoba avoid indaba ukuthi abantu balahlela amagama abantu esidlangalaleni wa confirma nobaba umnisi ngoba kuya ngalabo bantu bathi bona nobaba umnisi uyiphethe uwaphethe lawo magama.
The reason was that Mr. Dlamini did have this name, but he wasn't sure if they're just names dropping to say that they came from Juju CIC. He wanted definitely to ascertain with Mr. Mnisi that fact.
But my question is a different question. Is anybody, Juju or anybody else, entitled to influence tenders by indicating who their preferred bidders are?
Ngabe sikhona insizathu sokuthi bafuna ukuqinisekisa ukuthi lamagama ngempela abuya ku CIC uJuju.
Angeke ngazi kuleyo ndawo ukuthi sikhona yini.
Sorry, Ms. Maroe, you did not interpret the part about influencing.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Ukuthi isizathu sokuba ngabe banaso bafuna ukuqinisekisa noma uku-influencer isiphetho saleso
Ilungelo ngesizulu yini? Ilungelo.
Right.
Ilungelo ngesizulu. Bizwe ilungelo.
But I was
Bakhona.
just stuck on influence.
Bakhona
Mthebe.
yini abantu abanelungelo lokuthi ngizosebenzisa lesilungu ke ba-influence i-tender process. Bakhona abantu abanelungelo ilungelo lalokho.
Cha, abanalo ngomshana.
No, they did not have that right.
Let's move forward then to the 18th of March and page 513.
Maybe before you do that, let me ask, I think the question was asked, I just need to be reminded the answer. Still at that page 5112, why did you send that list of the two companies? On page, the same page, 5112, but you also find it at 148 of the first file, the very page that you were looking at with Mr. Chaskalson. So before you forward, at 148, it's you and the CFO, Mr. Mnisi. You send him Ngapesheya and El Shaddai. Why did you send him those?
Wathumelela amagama ongaphesheya kumnumzana uMnisi. Ne El Shaddai, kungani wathumelela amagama?
Yabo, isizathu sokuba ngithumelele amagama kubaba uMnisi kungenxa maningabuka kahle lapho ithi ngiyakubingelela wena captain Nyathemba ulungile ngiyaxolisa ukuba wena isikhathi sihambe kancane ukuba ngithumelele imlayezo kungokuthi after sengikhuluma nomnumzana uDlamini ukuba alekelele umfowethu ngenkampani yengaphesheya waseke umnumzana Dlamini wathi akakwazi ukuba angalekelela umfowethu ngenkampani yakhe ngoba kuzoba i-conflict of interest waseke ungaqhaza ngizobuya ngiqhaza.
The reason for giving this name of Ngapesheya was to assist my brother to secure the contract.
What about El Shaddai? Is it also your brother's company?
Xola kancane Commissioner, ungathi umama akaqedanga ukuchaza lento bengisho.
The reason
Repeat,
is that
please
you want
repeat.
to read.
Please repeat the part that Ms.
Engayishwa.
Murray did not mention. Please repeat it. Just the part that you say Ms. Murray did not interpret.
Ngathumela inkampani kubaBdlamini
I sent the company to the name of the company to Mr. Jamin,
ukuba uMr Dlamini alekelele umfowethu ngengaphesheya ukuba ithole umsebenzi eTshwane.
so that he could assist my brother companies Ngapesheya to secure the job or the tender.
Kwaseke uMr Dlamini waphendula ukuthi cha angeke kukhonakale lokho ku against umsebenzi wakhe se conflict of interest.
Then Mr. Jamini said he would not be in a position to do so because that will create a conflict of interest.
Waqhubeka uMr Dlamini wathi kimi ukhona umuntu amaziyo ongalekelela umfowethu kodwa loyo muntu akasebenzi eTshwane.
He did say that there was a person who could assist my brother, but that person does not work at Tshwane.
Loyo muntu ozokulekelela umfowethu umuntu osebenza ngamaphepha wamathenda is a document or tender specialist.
That person is the person who works with the paperwork or the tender documents.
Who's
What?
a specialist with tender documents?
And who was that person?
Kwakuba lowo muntu.
Angakaqedi ukuchaza.
I have not yet finished explaining.
Kwaseke uMr Dlamini amnikeza inkampani kamfowethu. Mr Dlamini wathi uzoqhumanisa umfowethu naloyo mlisa. Kodwa loyo mlisa akasebenzi umsebenzi wakhe ukusiza amakampani wama security ngento zamaphepha.
Mr. Dlamini then said he would assist my brother by linking him to this other person who works with the paperwork or tender documentation, but that person does not work for the Tshwane.
Okay, you talk about conflict relating to your brother's company. Why did you say, and then what about El Shaddai? What did General Dlamini say or do after you sent him this?
Sorry, Commissioner. I think I'll keep on maybe going back because if I feel at some stage maybe my interpreter is misinterpreting me. So I'll mix there and there. As Mr. Dlamini now intervened by connecting my brother with this individual from outside Tshwane, then he found that that individual is also helping other companies. Then after that individual was done with all the things that were necessary to be complied with, he sent it to Mr. Dlamini. Then Mr. Dlamini sent those documents to me, that now it's Ngapesheya and El Shaddai. And El Shaddai, it's a company that my brother usually works with in terms of the joint venture when they're working in stadium or in events, big events. So El Shaddai is known to me like that. And then he said to me, send this company to Umfowethu, Uguti. These are the companies that are verified by this certain individual, check for me if are they compliant with regards to the requirements of that project.
So when you sent to the CFO, to Mr. Mnisi, the name of Ngapesheya and El Shaddai, you wanted the CFO to verify that they comply with the requirements of the tender.
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
So yesterday you did not know who El Shaddai is, but today you know that they usually participate in joint ventures with your brother's company.
Yesterday, the question was, do I have interest? What is my interest? If I understood clearly in El Shaddai, then I said no.
You said that you requested Mr. Dlamini to General Dlamini to do something to ensure that your brother got the job. Do you remember saying that?
No.
When you spoke in isiZulu, something that led him to say that there would be a conflict of interest. I've paraphrased and made it much, much shorter than what you said, but I think the substance is the same.
Can you repeat that so that maybe I might understand?
You requested General Dlamini to do something and assist your brother towards securing the job in respect of the tender, not so?
That's correct.
That's what I tried to convey even before.
Yes, I'm sorry, Commissioner.
Yes.
I just wanted to.
Now, what I want to know is, did you make a similar request with regard to El Shaddai?
No, but it happens that the same guy who was doing also El
All right,
Shaddai.
thank you.
If we then go forward, can we go to the next development that I see is on 18 March, a week later, and that's on page 513. It starts at 8:26:32 a.m. Chat number 6. And you say, this is a message you send to the General at 8:26, sorry, chat number 6. Morning, General, the list of preferred people for demolition. So it's a week down the line, and you are now asking General to give you the list of preferred people for this tender. Is that not correct?
I'm not sure, or if I hear it correctly, I will appreciate if maybe can.
Well, demolition, this tender is known as the land tender or the demolition tender. You know that?
Yes.
So at 26 minutes past 8 on the 18th of March, this is a week after, well, let's just rewind a bit. You have an exchange with the General about Ngepesheya and El Shaddai being the two preferred vehicles. General then comes back and says, well, this is what these 7 are wanted by the Red Berets. Will you check it out with the CFO?
Yes.
A week later, you go to the General and you say, morning, General, the list of preferred people for demolition. What then happens? Let me take you through the chats and then you can comment on my conclusions at the end. That's 8:26. At 8:33, you call the General in chat number 7. Over the page at 8:34, you call again. Lower down at 8:37, he calls you back. So there's a sequence of calls in the essentially the 10 minutes after you send that message, the list of preferred people for demolition. After that sequence of calls, you then on page, remember the last of those calls is at 8:37. If we then go to page 153, well, actually the bottom of 152 rather than the very bottom of 152. We see that last chat there, and remember you've got to add 2 hours. So at 8:50, you WhatsApp the CFO with just 2 names, Nkosi and El Shaddai. So what it seems to me is taking place here is once again you're placing yourself as the conduit for communications between the general and the CFO. And you have asked the general, in the wake of last week's conversation about the 7 extra companies that the Red Berets want, he must come back to you now with who are the preferred vehicles for this tender. You've had a conversation, and then at 8:50, you have communicated the outcome of that conversation to the CFO. And the outcome of that conversation is that the 2 preferred vehicles remain your brother's company and the company with which it normally partners. What's your response to that? And Sergeant, I must emphasize, at any stage during this questioning, if you want to assert a privilege against self-incrimination, you are entitled to do so. Don't want you to answer questions that might incriminate you and that you're not obliged to answer. You must always be free to do that. Having said that, do you want to answer this question?
Yes, I want to answer this question.
Then please do.
Interpreter. Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to talk through you were going to answer through the interpreter. So let me start again. We go back to 11 March. You have had a conversation with the general. It starts with you identifying Nkosi and El Shaddai as the 2 preferred vehicles for the tender. The general then comes back with a list of 7 additional companies which he said come from the Red Berets. He says, please check this with the CFO. You forward to the CFO all 3 of your chats to the general, the one about your 2 choices, the 7 that ostensibly come from the Red Berets, and the general's request that the CFO must check this out. A week later, you send a chat to the general, you send a message to the general saying, the preferred vehicles for the demolition tender. There are then a series of conversations. Sorry, I'm going so far down the line, we're going to have to start again. So, can I ask, are you able to interpret what I've said thus far? Or should I, let's do it one step at a time. The sequence, okay. It starts on the 11th of March. You have identified with the general your 2 preferred vehicles for this tender. The general has then messaged you to say there are another 7 companies that the Red Berets want.
General useyakuphendula uthi cha kukhona nezinye inkampani eziyisikhombisa abe Red Beret abafuna ukuthi zibonelele.
You have forwarded all 3 of those messages. The message where you identified your 2 preferred vehicles, where there was the list of the 7 other vehicles, and the message underneath that saying, these are the companies that the Red Berets want. Check this out with the CFO. You forward all of those to the CFO.
Yonke ke leyo mlayezo wena uyidlulisela ku-CFO lezi zikampani zakhe ezimbili obona ukuthi izona ezifanele zithole umsebenzi kanye nalezi ezinye eziyisikhombisa abe-Red Barren abafuna zibonelelo.
That's where things stand on the 11th.
Ke ngomhla ka-11.
A week later, on the 18th, you send the general a message asking for the preferred vehicles for the land tender, for the demolition tender.
Ngomhla ka-11 wena usuthumela lezi inkampani ofuna izibonelelwe ekudilizeni. Ngomhla ka-18 wena usuthumela lezi inkampani izona ezifanele ibonelelwe kumsebenzi wokudiliza, demolition.
There are then a series of voice calls between yourself and the general.
Ebese kuqhubekela phambili kuba nokuxhumana phakathi kwakho no-general.
At the end of those voice calls, you message the CFO
Kwalezo nkulumiswano ezaba khona lawo machati wena ukuthumela umlayezo ku-CFO
with just two names,
namagama amabili,
Ngapesher and El Shaddai.
ingaphesheya ne-El Shaddai.
And what it looks like to me is that once again, you are intermediating conversations between the general and the CFO.
Bonakala ukuthi wena futhi usangenelela exhumaneni phakathi ko-general no-CFO.
And the outcome of those conversations over a period of a week is that the chosen vehicles remain Ngapesher and El Shaddai.
Umphumela ke walezo ngxoxo enibe nazo ukuthi inkampani embili izona okufanele zamukeleke okungaphesheya ne-El Shaddai.
And I want your comment on that.
Ngicela ke ukuthi uphawule ngalokho.
Ujenene uDlamini isizathu zokuthi angisendele lamakampani amabili ukulandelwa kokuba after lamankampani sekabuyile ole inkampani sezibuyile kulomuntu bekade ezilekelela ngokwamaphepha.
The reason was that this name of these companies have been brought back from the person who was checking them,
Checking their paperwork.
checking,
Their paperwork or compliant.
yes, checking that they are compliant.
And were they compliant?
Ngabe ke zazi ulandela imigomo noma inqubo noma imithetho kufanele ziyilandele.
Ukuya ngami nobaba Dlamini ngaleso sikhathi ngomlayezo angiphawana ukuthi zikulungele lokho.
Yes, according to me and Lamin was that they were complying.
Well, we'll get to that shortly because in fact they were not compliant. Yesterday I said there were 6 independent grounds on which Ngapesher should have been disqualified. In fact, I undercalculated, it was 12. But we will take you one by one through them in the chats later. For now, I want to go forward to the 21st of March. And we're back with your chats with the CFO, 154. He says to you on the 21st of March, top of the page, good morning. I had a meeting with Action SA and EFF yesterday. Telling me to submit 5 is an insult and didn't sit well with me. He says sit well with me, but I think he meant sit well with me. You see that?
That's correct.
And if we go to 515, we see that you immediately forward that message to the general. (515) chat 3.
Where?
And you'll see at 11:17, you forward to the General the message you've just received from the CFO. Good morning. I had a meeting with Action SA and EFF yesterday, telling me to submit 5 is an insult and didn't sit well with me. You see that?
That's correct.
Now, once again, the CFO is communicating with the General through you. CFO texts you, you text the General. Why is this taking place?
Kungani usef inkulumiswano evela ku CFO iza kuwe ukuthi uyidlulisele kuDlamini?
Kungalendlela bona bajwayele ngakhona or sijwayele ngakhona ukukhuluma.
That is how we normally or regularly communicated. That was the habit on how we conducted this.
So when you were in the car and Gubis called and raised a problem about not being paid, in fact, there was no factor specific to that situation that you wanted to help out the CFO because he was in a car and he couldn't do these communications. That in fact wasn't the correct answer, the truth as to why you took over the process and started intermediating yourself. The truth was that you just always intermediate yourself in communications between the General and the CFO.
Okusho ukuthi lokho kushilo ekuqaleni ukuthi ngesikhathi nihamba nisemotweni wangenela nje wena ukusiza. Lokhu kukhombisa ukuthi indlela vele benijwayele ukusebenzisana ngayo, hayi ngoba ufuna ukusiza ngalelo langa.
Akusiqiniso lokho.
That is not true.
Okokuqala azange ngithi umnumzana umnisi beyangakwazi ukukhuluma noJenene ngoba wayekade busy.
Firstly, I didn't say that Mr. Mnisi was not able to speak to the General because he was busy.
Ngithe yimi engavolunteer ukuba ngizokhuluma noJenene ngoba uJenene ngimazi buduzane.
I'm the one who volunteered to speak to the General because I am very familiar with the General.
Well, let's go on with the sequence. 516. Chat number 1. We're now 2 days on. It's 23 March. Afternoon, Captain. This is from the General. I trust you're well and your family. I thought we could meet up today so that I could get clarity on something kumfowethu. Kane called me on Friday and asked that if Gubis want to meet up with me on Saturday. I then pushed the meeting to Monday with a view of getting direction from Mfowethu first, today. Please check with him on this and his advice, if I should go or drop them. Don't want to make a mistake on such matters because I believe the center should be one. We've discussed this message earlier today, you recall?
Yes.
You'll see that you immediately forward that message to the CFO. And you'll find it forwarded immediately on 155. It's the second last message on the page. You forwarded to the CFO, message time 6:16:20, it's actually 8:16:20 p.m. When he receives it, he says to you, let's let General meet him, then he will brief us of the outcomes of the discussion when we meet later, Mfowethu. So, in response to the General's message that he's been approached by Gubis, who want to meet him. Remember, Gubis are also one of the bidders on this tender. You remember that?
Yes.
So they want to meet with the General. And the CFO says, let the General meet, then he will brief us of the outcomes of the discussion when we meet later. Then, on the 25th of March, at 1:57, you send the CFO your third message confirming that it's your brother's company and his usual partnering company that are the preferred vehicles. That's at 8:12 a.m., message time 6:17 a.m., middle of the page. Just those same two names, El Shaddai and Gapesher. Why did you do that?
I sent these companies to the CFO to check if these companies are compliant according to what has been informed by the general to me, that indeed through that person who helped these companies, they are compliant.
But you've already sent those two names ostensibly for that purpose a few days previously, or you're just repeating the same message that you sent previously?
That's correct.
Well, the response of the CFO, if we go down, is, can we meet at Jean Avenue at about 4? You say super, and he says, please bring General Mpoetu. We go back to 517. 517. The please bring General was at 13:08 and 1:08 p.m., and we see at 1:11 p.m. there is a screenshot that is sent to the General, and it's a screenshot of your chats that you've just had with the CFO. And lower down the page at 1:14, the General, sorry, lower down same page, 517, at 1:14 p.m., chat 4, the General responds, afternoon, Captain, trust you are well and your family, copied, we will see you there. So the CFO has asked for a meeting at Jean Street at 4, and the General is saying yes. Then, we now have reached 8 p.m. at night, and we are at page, the same 25th of the 3rd, we're at the bottom of page 520. And now the General sends you a document. We'll get to that document in due course. And what he says on the document is, Captain naimanda to Victor apiwe yona. So he is sending you a list of bidders who Victor has a mandate to award this tender to. Is that correct? Maybe before you answer, you should go to page 176, because you immediately forward that list to the CFO. It's the foot of page 176. Message time 6:31:53 p.m. It's actually 8:31:53. And you see it's a screenshot of your conversation with General Dlamini, and there are 7 companies that are listed for TMPD 12425, and the same message, Captain naimanda to Victor apiwe yona. It says from US, you say, and is US, what is US? Is US Umashi?
Where is that?
At the foot of, so if you go over to 177. you see that that message is forwarded with a message from US. And I assume that that's a reference to the general, because it is in fact forwarded from the general, and the general's first name is Umashi. I think the U would stand for Umashi, is that correct?
Yes.
And underneath, just to make clear, you tell the CFO that these are companies given to Victor by Nico.
Yes.
And then underneath that, you send your own message to the CFO, which says, Captain, sorry, you don't. I need to take you back to page 521. 521. And there you'll see at the top of the page, 903, the general says, Captain, find below our vehicles for land to be given Kumfuetu in order of priority, and there they go, El Shaddai at the top, and Gapesher then coming second, and then another 3, 4, unfortunately 4 has been repeated, so there are actually in total 6 companies, but they're 2 number 4s, and then a bit lower down the page, a 7th company is added at 9:07:56 p.m., where the list has now grown to 7. And that list of 7, you forward to the CFO on page 177 in the chat that is sent at message time 7:08, which is actually 9:08 p.m. You see that?
I see that.
He responds, thanks, Mfowethu, I'm on top of this. And he says, this is ours, Mfowethu, this is the final list, right? And you say, yes, it's our final list.
Which page do I said is our final list?
178, do you see?
Right.
So, when you said it was your final list, and the list has been described as our vehicles for land to be given Kumfuetu in order of priority, what are you saying?
Okay. This list, it was the list that was compiled by Nico. This was a list that was compiled by Nico, whom was referred by General Dlamini, who is an outsider to Tshwane. So according to Nico, he sent this to General Dlamini that this, according to him and what he did in terms of the paperwork, it is compliant to be able to work. So now, he sent to General Dlamini. General Dlamini said, can you verify with Mfowethu which these companies are compliant? That is the reason I've sent them to Nico, to the CFO.
Land to be given means they are compliant.
Pardon?
If you just read on page 177,
Yes.
where they say, Captain, below our vehicles for land to be given. What does land to be given mean?
It's a land invasion project. Land invasion, yeah.
So this is the tender, it's called the land tender or the demolition tender. I'm not saying that that's what is said in your chats, but this tender I'm putting to you is known as the land tender or the demolition tender. It's to protect city land from land invasion and to demolish shacks if people invade city land. Is that not correct?
Now, are you asking me on top of the question that was asked by Commissioner Kumar? Now,
I'll let you answer Commissioner Kumala's question. I was trying to speed up that process and
I
clarify.
thought you had already answered.
Yes.
Mine was clarification. You are being asked a different question by Advocate Chaskalson.
okay,
That the tender itself was about protecting city land from land invasions.
That's
and
correct.
to demolish shacks if people have built illegally.
that's correct.
Yes.
And Nico, is that Nico Matubela? Nico, the man outside the city who can help you with compliance.
Nico who?
Nico, you said these are the names that have come back from Nico.
Yes. I don't know his surname. He's a person that is known by general, but I can confirm that it is Nico. Maybe before the Honorable Commission proceed, I'm pressed. Can I? This what I'm sorry, Commissioners.
No problem. Let's adjourn.